This guy is not normal. I'm telling you. Did you see his eyes? He's got crazy eyes. He's a lunatic. I'm telling you, we are going into the wilderness being led by a lunatic. He's behind me, isn't he?
That is Billy Crystal, of course, in City Slickers, which you know was a hit at the box office in the summer of 1991. City Slickers was Crystal's follow-up to When Harry Met Sally, that iconic movie that officially made Crystal a star. The actor has a resume that includes Analyze This, Monsters, Inc., the Tony-winning Broadway show 700 Sundays, and 9 hosting gigs at the Academy Awards. The seeds of that career planted by Crystal's father, Jack, who ran a New York music store and record label and hosted concerts in a theater that now bears his name. Willie got together with Billy a few months back for a Sunday sit-down inside the Jack Crystal Theater at the NYU Tisch School of the Arts.
And this was, Dad at the microphone, because he would MC the shows besides producing them. And there was a sign there, Jazz at the Plaza.
Can you tell me why this room is so significant to you and your family?
My dad produced great jazz concerts here on the weekends from 1949 until his untimely death in 1963. A lot of great things happened here. He was one of the first producers to integrate bands. I mean, it was like an amazing melting pot of talent.
Billy Crystal's life in show business began in these halls.
You say you remember being 5 years old on this stage.
I couldn't help myself. When the music started, I ran up on stage and tap danced with the band as best I could. Crowd went wild.
You never forget that.
Oh, you never forget your first laugh, your first applause.
He's been getting those laughs ever since.
You know, I'd never moseyed before. Hope I did it correctly.
But I would be proud to partake of your pecan pie.
Have fun storming the castle.
You're not supposed to name it.
Once you name it, you start getting attached to it.
The road to stardom began for the 77-year-old Crystal on the south shore of New York's Long Island, where he and his 2 older brothers played baseball and made people laugh.
I'm curious when the performance or entertaining bug really bit you.
I'm at ease in only a few places, honestly. Talking to people and fielding ground balls. Otherwise, I don't know what I am. It's always been a safe place.
That's interesting because it's the exact opposite for most people.
That's where I wanted to be.
He eventually followed that love of performance to NYU, where he took a film class taught by an up-and-coming director named Martin Scorsese.
But he'd stand behind you while you're editing your film, and he would be very scary, because he would look and he was so intense, and he was, why'd you shoot that way? Use a wide shot. Every time I see him, I say the same thing. Why'd you give me a C?
Did he really give you a C?
No.
Come on.
There were no grades. It was just, I think you could do better.
After graduating, Crystal married his longtime girlfriend, Janice. He worked as a substitute teacher while trying to break into the New York comedy scene and caring for the couple's first daughter.
Janice comes to me and says, the baby's 6 months old. I'm going to go back to work. You'll watch Jenny all day. I'll come home around 5, and you'll go off and you'll be the comedian I know that you can be. Now, I was Mr. Mom before it was cool.
Crystal's big break came in 1976 when the young comic was tapped to perform at the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast of Muhammad Ali.
You're still a kid at this point.
Yeah. I've never been on television before. And there's Ali, my hero.
Everybody's talking about Joe Frazier. Don't talk about Joe.
It ended, big applause. Ali grabs me and whispers in my ear, "You're my little brother." And that's what he called me for 42 years.
The next year, he landed his first starring role in the groundbreaking series Soap.
Clean hair? Carol, I'm a homosexual, not an asthmatic.
And later, a single memorable season on Saturday Night Live.
You look mad.
Crystal had made a name in comedy by the late 1980s when his friend, director Rob Reiner, suggested he could be a movie star in the romantic comedy When Harry Met Sally.
Men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
That's not true.
People knew you in comedies, they knew you from television series and some of the other movies you'd done, but this was something else. This had a life of its own.
And it still does. Suddenly you're being told you're a romantic lead. That took a lot of adjustments for me. Even to this day, 35 years later, people come up and they want to meet Harry.
Yes! Oh! 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 Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Rob is always quick to point out that you actually wrote that line.
I did, yeah. We were in a rehearsal. Meg said, I think I should have one. I said, now? No, I didn't. And I said, yeah, in a public place, like at a restaurant. And I said, we cut to an older woman and she'll say, I'll have what she's having.
And the rest is history.
As you get older and you look back and you go, that was a good one.
There have been many good ones in a legendary career that was sparked inside this theater that now bears the name of the charismatic father who died when Billy was just 15 and later inspired the Tony-winning one-man show, 700 Sundays.
So I once calculated that I had roughly 700 Sundays. That's it. 700 Sundays. That's not a lot of time for a boy to have with his dad.
That had to be so special to be able to tell that story to an audience every night.
I just needed to do it in a way that I was comfortable with, and that's in front of people.
So what do you see when you look at these photographs of your dad?
I see somebody who had a great passion for people. Even to this day, those who are still around who knew him talk lovingly about him. That means everything to me.
I can't help but think, sitting in the Jack Crystal Theater, what your father would have thought, seeing the things you've done in your life. Do you think about that sometimes?
All the time. The babies being born, our grandchildren. It's those moments, the career moments, of course. I couldn't get them out of my head, and my mom, too, at the Kennedy Center. I kept saying, man, what they missed, you know. But in some ways you think, they've seen, they've been watching. The thing that would be most important is he'd say, you did good. You're a good man. That would mean the most.
Very special indeed. Our thanks to everybody at the NYU Tisch School's Jack Crystal Theater for hosting Willie and Billy. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Sitdown podcast to hear the full extended interview with Billy Crystal, full of behind-the-scenes stories from his life in comedy. You can find that conversation wherever you get your podcasts, or just scan that QR code right there on your screen.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC, or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.